makes you think we're losing? He said, we've implemented every plank of the Communist Manifesto. We just haven't got the guns from the people yet. And JP turned to him and said, yeah, and you ain't going to get them from the people. What do you think of that? Well, folks, what do you think of that? They're working on it, aren't they? Huh? Now, you're going to go to court and you're going to be your own attorney. You got to be sharp. You got to keep records. You go to court, you write it down. You get anything in paperwork, you write it down. You send them anything in paperwork, you write it down. You got me? Don't be screwing around on me, because I'm going to tell you some of these things got dates and times and things that you got to do. And if you don't take care of business, guess what? They ain't going to take care of it for you. You're your own attorney. If you want to be your own attorney, you got to have records. You got to keep on top of things. So every time you do something, you write it down. And you make sure you can go back and say, yeah, I remember on such and such a date at such and such a time this happened and this happened and this happened. You can construct a chronological order of events, okay? Now, also write down all important numbers to anybody that has anything that's got to be done. Okay, now, what we want to get into is we want to get into some serious arguments on taxes. Okay? Well, also, we should tell you that if anybody violates your rights, okay, Title 42 United States Code, Section 1983. Everybody got this? Can you see it? Every person who, under color of statute, ordinance, or regulation, custom or usage of any state or territory, or the District of Columbia, subjects, or causes to be subjected, any citizen of the United States or other person within the jurisdiction thereof, to the deprivation of any rights, privileges, or immunities secured by the Constitution and the laws, shall be liable to the party injured in an action at law, suit in equity, or other proper proceeding for the redress. For the purpose of this section, any act of Congress applicable exclusively to the District of Columbia. Why do you think they said that? Because they're members of the fund. And they are under Title 26, Section 6331A. Shall be considered to be a statute of the District of Columbia. Now, does everybody understand about Admiralty and Maritime Jurisdiction? I know you don't, but not a little bit. They have created a duality of citizenship under the 14th Amendment. They're claiming there's common law rights, which everybody gets their Constitution, and there's national rights where you waive all your Constitution. Now, which did you want? Does that sound like a good deal? Sounds like you're being ripped to me. Here we got the 1-207. Remember, 1-207, right? Alright, now. Okay. Where are we at here? We want to show Jack McLam's magnificent books too. Vampire Killer 2000 and the Aid and Abet newsletter. We need to get these out to every police officer in the United States of America. They need to understand what the heck's going on here. You get a hold of Jack McLam and his people at Vampire Killer 2000 and they will be happy to put this book out. This explains to your police officers exactly what the heck's going on. And they have an Aid and Abet newsletter that you can get. Let's get that out. Aid and Abet. Aid and Abet Police Newsletter, P.O. Box 8787, Phoenix, Arizona, 85066, right? And he has a phone number you can call him too, I think. Now, they have these vampire killers out, and it tells the police everything they need to know. Also, they publish a newsletter, Aid and Abet newsletter. You want to make sure, Aid and Abet, okay? And get that to your police officers. What I like to do is when a police officer busts me for something, what I like to do is I like to enroll him in a free subscription. And you know what? He hands it out to everybody. Plus, I'm doing him a service. Now, if you folks don't think this is serious, I'm telling you right now, they are building these work camps, these multi-jurisdictional forces, and these work camps all over. Notice that most of them are coordinated between Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, and Wisconsin. And then they got a bunch more out here in the Wyoming, Idaho, the Great West, and they got them in California. Then they got these detention facilities. Everybody paying attention to these detention facilities? Notice where most of them are, and what they call them is regional prisons. Look at all the ones here in Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio, or Illinois.
There's a bunch of new ones since then, too.
Yeah, there is. I know there is. They prop up and they call themselves... Okay, and then they got battle groups, United Nations battle groups. I mean, we've had reports of Russian troops being in Michigan all summer. And we got positive sightings by people that are retired military colonels and above. And we know they were at Camp Grayling this summer. So I'm telling you folks, the time to wake up is now. Wake up, America, before it's too late. Before you lose your God-given rights to some foreign potentate. You might think that you look like a sucker. I mean, you want to buy any apples off that cart? I ain't buying no apples off that cart because I know they're all rotten. Okay? Now, we want to get into...
Militia?
The next thing we want to get into is the militia, right? And then we want to get into taxes seriously. And that'll be the close for today. Now, those of you who have been in militia groups and everybody's getting all panicky, let's understand a few things about the militia. Whether you like it or not, you are in the militia in the state of Michigan. And I will tell you right where it says that. Article 17, militia, right here. What does it say? And this is from the 1850 Constitution, all the way back in our state to the Northwest Territories treaty, they have a militia. But this is an example of what they're talking about. The militia shall be composed of all able-bodied male citizens between the ages of 18 and 45 years, except such as are exempted by laws of the United States and of the state, but all such citizens of any religious denomination whatever who from scruples of conscience, alright? In other words, if you're a conscientious objector, may be adverse to bearing arms, shall be excused therefrom upon such conditions as shall be prescribed by law. And they have conscientious objector statuses, okay? Then you go to the 1908 Constitution, just to show you that this is the God's truth here. 1908 Michigan Constitution. The Michigan militia shall be composed of all able-bodied male citizens between the ages of 18 and 45 years of age, except such as are exempted by laws of the United States or of this state, but all such citizens of any religious denomination who, from scruples of conscience, may be adverse to bearing arms, shall be excused therefrom upon such conditions as shall be prescribed by law. Okay? Now, that's the 1908 Constitution. Now you come up here, now this is just let you know the trend here. Now, we're in the 1963 Constitution, and in the 1963 Constitution, I wanted to show you a little diverse thing here. This right here. Common law and statutes and continuance in Michigan. The common law and the statute laws now in force, not repugnant to this Constitution, shall remain in force until they expire by their own limitations or are changed, amended, or repealed. So the common law is prevailing. The militia, here we go. I knew we had seen it. Now notice, folks, as the thing goes on, it gets shorter and shorter. Here's your militia. This is Article 3, Section 4. The militia shall be organized, equipped, and disciplined as provided by law. That's all you get now. Now, when you look in the beginning of this Constitution, there is a empowering statutory phrase that says, all constitutions before, everything they had in them are carried forward to this Constitution. And that's how they're allowed to do this. So, what would happen in this case, because they haven't clearly defined it here, they would have to go back in the law to the previous Constitution, which would be the 1908 Constitution, which we just read to you. Well, this one right here. So this one would be the militia shall be composed of all able-bodied male citizens 18 to 45 years of age. So that would be the controlling one, because that's as prescribed by law, just like they said. Does everybody see that? Now, the bottom line here, folks, is a lot of people are all upset about the militia. All the militia is concerned citizens that are worried about their Constitution getting flushed down the toilet. We're not putting up with that stuff. We want people to understand that we love the Constitution, we love our country, and we're not screwing around. Alright, here we go. Generally, the militia shall be organized, equipped, and disciplined as provided by law. Now let's get into that. The single section is substituted for all of this relating to the militia in the present 1908 Constitution. Remember I told you about empowering? The existing article ties the legislature down to an outmoded concept of what the militia should be. You believe that? Boy, our forefathers would be rolling over in their grave. Details as to organizing, equipping, and disciplining the militia are left to the legislative enactment in the interest of the flexibility in future requirements. Ah, does that mean future requirements, if it got nasty and down and dirty, we would have our militia come back? Sounds good to me. I could go for that. The bottom line is the people that know what's going around are not screwing around. They join the militia. Okay? Alright, now Article 10. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Article 9. Let's pull this out. The militia, organization and discipline. The legislature shall provide by law for organizing and disciplining the militia in such manner as they shall deem expedient, not incompatible with the Constitution and the laws of the United States. But they're not doing it, right? The legislature shall provide for efficient discipline of the officers commissioned and non-commissioned, and the musicians and/or may provide by law for the organization and discipline of the volunteer companies. Volunteer companies. Notice that. Volunteer companies, huh? Officers of the militia shall be elected or appointed in such manner as the legislature shall from time to time direct and shall be commissioned by the governor. The governor shall have the power to call forth the militia to execute the laws of the state, to suppress insurrections and repel invasions. That's what our forefathers had in mind when they had a militia. Now, if they're going to invade us, they're going to change our money, they're going to shut down our Constitution. That's why the militia needs to be organized. That's why you need to be down there talking to a militia. That's why you need to be joining the militia. I don't care what church you go to. I don't care what color, national origin, ethnic background you come from. You need to be down to the militia, and you need to be talking to them folks about this is the United States of America, and I will protect it and its constitutional form of government. And by doing that, if we do it in sufficient numbers, most probably what will happen is the New World Order scammers will realize, the people woke up, we screwed up. We'll have to wait another 300 years to try and pull it again. And let's hope that's what happens. If that isn't what happens, then the militia will defend the Republic, just like what our forefathers intended. And we will defend the Republic, as we always do, with vigor. And we will have a government by Constitution. That American flag will be on that pole out there, and anybody that wants to try something different, hey, knock yourself out. But plan on a very severe battle, because we will never give up the United States of America, its constitutional government, or our American flag, or our American heritage. So this idea that you're going to wear us out, tie us down, otherwise skew us around is nothing but a lot of hoodoo. It ain't going to happen in your lifetime. As a matter of fact, your lifetime may not be that long either. Because we try traitors in this country. And the bottom line is the penalty for treason is death. And it's not our purpose to threaten or coerce or otherwise intimidate any person, but we want you to understand that this is the United States of America. This is a country governed by constitutional law, that constitutional law prescribes penalties for criminal acts, and that those criminal acts can be punished by a lawful means. We're asking all persons that are involved in all walks of government or any areas of the law to please, 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 let's get back to the Constitution and quit screwing around. Let's just get back to what's supposed to be done and quit screwing around. Pull back your Federalist Papers and let's start reading. You're going to find out everything that's in this book is directly applicable today. We need to do it over. We need to get back to a gold and silver standard. We need to get back to a serious means of trade expedience that's going to hold the standards of our country even. We won't have this inflation. We won't have this ridiculous market situation. We're asking you, please, before God, we're asking you. We want our Constitution. We want it back. We want all of the American principles that we stand for, that our brave soldiers died for. And we're asking you to please quit screwing around. Let's get down to brass tacks. You've been feeding the pablum to the babies too long. We're way, believe me, we're way ahead of you. You may not think so, but I'm here to tell you, we're way ahead of you. You're going to wake up someday and you're going to be shocked. We're going to be all standing out there smiling. Because you're going to be the one that's asleep, not us. We know what we're talking about. We're not fooling around. We want you to honor our Constitution. God bless America. We want you to keep us safe. We want to be into the 21st century stronger than we were in the 17th century.